and on Sky Morning Live on Sky FM 107.1 as Matthias Larbeindee and his guests make sense of a variety of issues affecting our country and the world. Tune into Sky Morning Live right here on Sky FM 107.1 Monday to Thursday, 7 to 9 o'clock. Don't miss it. On the road.
Morning, pleasant. Welcome to another interesting edition of the program Sky Morning Live on Sky 107.1. Amazing, my good people, my valuable listeners out there of this program. And all of the time you come out to me, you join me here to talk about Liberia, to talk about issues affecting us here and the sub-region. My name is Matthias. Today is the 26th day of September 2022. By the way, we're going to be looking at talking to the business community this morning. I know it's very interesting for us to look at that direction as well, as we have many issues to look at. But let's go to the business community. While students are preparing to go to school, some schools have already started. While parents are struggling to pay children's school fees, but that doesn't seem to be the problem they are confronted with. The acquisition of basic commodities, most especially the staple food, is challenges the business people are confronted with. It's also affecting ordinary citizens' life daily. Mr. Dominic Nimble is the president of the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia. Matthias is going to be joining us this morning from 8 to 9 o'clock to tell us about what he sees on the ground, what he hears from the corridors of the business community in Liberia. Before that, we'll be talking about a variety of issues, but there is a new breed of academicians, as one may put it. There's a new breed of scholars that are poised to stepping into what we consider the meritocracy system of highlighting academic excellence in the country. This group is called Educate Next Gen, or Educate Next Generation. I'm going to be speaking to Mr. Ernest Adon, Director of Programs of Educate the Next Generation, shortly. That's on the line to tell us about yesterday's honoring program conducted by the organization, honoring about several valedictorians of several high schools in the country. That's a way of saying to somebody that you too can get standing ovation, you too can get these accolades if you do well. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the program Sky Money Live on Sky 107.1. We're here Monday to Thursday, 7 to 9 o'clock. But quickly, let me quickly inform you about a little adjustment. Is that adjustment? Um, I think we're responding to something that we must respond. All right. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to be here for an hour. I'm going to be with you for an hour. That is from 7 to 8:50 or maybe 8 o'clock. Because I have a pressing issue to deal with, present engagement to deal with. Management is aware of it. So we hope that we can have a co-host anytime soon that's going to fill in that gap anytime we're around. So Tuesday and Thursday, I'm not going to be here throughout 9 o'clock. I'm going to be here 7 to 8:50 until we can get done with that which we're doing, so that we can continue on the full time. But I actually ACP time. I'm not on, especially when we had a breakdown recently. Our generator time, so that was big one, and then hopefully by the grace of God, our able technicians, mechanical engineers were able to put that together quickly. I want to find a word that maybe one may say, an accident would say, that is going to serve as protagonist of our talk this morning, or some of the things that we're going to be highlighting. And that word is moral, or one may say morality. All right. So moral, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, is defined as of or relating to principles of right and wrong in behavior. So moral talks about ethic, all right, ethical behavior, moral judgments. The second definition, however, says expressing or teaching a conception of right behavior, a moral poem. The third definition, conforming to a standard of right behavior. There's a sentence here, took a moral position on the issue, though it cost him a nomination. Some people have taken moral positions in their lives, though it cost them their deliberate. All right. The fifth definition says sanctioned by or operative on one's conscience or ethical judgment, a moral obligation. When you are morally obliged to do something, sometimes, even if that which you are to do unethically is going to bring you some instant, gratification, maybe in terms of wealth, in terms of resources, you're going to get instant result. But because of your moral obligation to your conscience, you're going to find it difficult to do that thing because you are someone who is a respecter of moral. So most times, people who are morally upright or who practice morality, though there's no one morally upright person in this world, everybody has dirty closet, but the people who live at most maybe 70, 80%, morally okay. All right, there's 80%, some of them are 80% morally okay. So why am I defining morality? In societies where you have people who are respecters of morality, they take a position by the time their names are mentioned into particular things, for example, like corruption. All right, some countries around the world, in the West, we've seen where their public officials resign their post just because somebody levied an allegation against them that Matthias is involved into corruption. Whether that allegation is proven or not, the person will consider the issue of morality that is tied to that particular allegation levied against him or her. So what they do, they resign their position. And beyond that, they do not just resign position, they stay away from all public contestations, all public positions, all public duties. They because of the fact that they've been reported in a court of public opinion, and not just the code of public opinion, the code of morality. Meaning, if people raise concerns and say, hey, Matthias, God forbid, Matthias sexually harassed, Matthias raped this person, Matthias, corrupted the system, Matthias stole this, that person has been reported to a moral court. The attitude of people raising these concerns is because they see something unethical about that particular action. If it is ethically okay, maybe they wouldn't be clapping for you. They'd be giving you standing ovation. They'd be telling you, well, thank you for what you've done. Like people who go around the world, they perform very well, they bring pride to their countries. So the people just going to be celebrating you. I say this to mean that recently we all saw what happened with the US Department of the Treasury. The US Department of the Treasury sanctioned three of our government officials. But before the recent three officials that were sanctioned, we have the likes of, is it Prince Johnson, Senator Vanish Sherman, and we can go on naming other people who have been sanctioned. But the recent one, that ones that were sanctioned, Mr. McGill, Mr. Biotuawe, and Mr. Cephas, Serena Cephas, Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia. Today, we're hearing reports coming from Bapolo County that they sanctioned, and the former Minister of State, Minister Nathaniel McGill, is preparing to contest the senatorial position in Bapolo County. Hey, don't get me wrong. I know that I may not be that smart as some of you guys are. I may not be a scholar as some of you guys are, but I know that this is the right of every citizen to get involved into political contestation as long as they meet the requirement. But one of the requirements in any given society, one of the requirements of one wanting to participate in for a public position is the requirement of morality, is the requirement of you having some moral principles, living up to some moral principles, living up to some moral values. I know somebody may come up to say, Matthias, what are you saying? Are you concluding that because of the allegations levied against our three officials, it means these people are already guilty? I am not saying they're guilty, but that's why I laid the premise. I set the basis of this conversation. I give a definition of the word, and I also pointed you at some areas that you can find out for yourself what some other people have done. Maybe Africa is just a continent that most times we speak about these ethical issues, and we give examples of other countries around the world that are living up to these ethical issues. But when it comes to us, we defend it with tradition, we defend it with right, we defend it with allegation, we try to justify, we find justification. But in a given society where people are concerned about morality, you wouldn't be hearing names like Bio Tuawe, names like McGill, names like Cephas for a public position that they are opting to participate, for a public position. I'm not saying Bio Tuawe or Mr. Cephas are, but Mr. McGill is. Recently, you witnessed the mammoth crowd he pulled out in Bapolo County. And in fact, when it's even appear on a local radio there in Bapolo, people are celebrating him. There's a new song, by the way, that is now being sung by several people. That hey, you sanction, no sanction. They're directing that in different ways. People are coming and saying, okay, sanction, no sanction. We're going to vote the government again. Sanction, no sanction. We're going to vote for you, McGill. So the question I want to ask, however, is it the people that have some moral questions hovering over them that are not morally right, that do not respect moral principles, or is it the society, or it is the society that encourages people to ignore moral principles? We can go back to mention a number of people. We say, Charles Taylor, you kill my ma, you kill my pa, I will vote for you. Charles Taylor, in any given, logical analysis, logical reasoning of anyone or any scholar, one will conclude that, hey, he was not morally okay to become president, given the manner and form in which he came. We can also mention Simon Kanya Doe. Doe, no, he was not morally okay also to become president of the country. We can say Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson? No, absolutely not. He's not morally okay to be senator of Nimba County, and also not just that, kingmaker. People in opposition will criticize this man, but when the time comes for them to participate in the process of election, they bring him close. So the benefit from his unethical behaviors yesterday that brought him to pop to the limelight. Whenever September approaches in Liberia, we reminisce, we sit down, we reflect on the fact that a sitting senator has the blood of a sitting president on his hands. But is it the society that is saying to him he should not recognize his immoral attitude? I don't know. So I just put that to you there. So here is McGill today in Bapolo County, preparing himself for senatorial, election. And some of the things I've heard that, wow, the big brother. So I'm putting you on the radio or what, Mr. Hammond? I'm live on the air. Yeah, I'm on the radio. Mr. Eddie Hammer, big brother Eddie Hammer, is a professional colleague. I think he was reaching out to do a follow up on the the appearance of the membership committee of the press, of Liberia, that is preparing for elections. All right. So McGill is preparing to become senator in Bapolo County. But I put it to you, is it the people of Bapolo County that are saying to him, regardless of whatever allegation that's levied against you, don't worry, we'll promote you? Or the onus should also be on Mr. McGill to say, no, I cannot escape this thing easily. Let me teach some moral principles to our generation, or to the generation to come. I am not contesting for any position, but I'll leave it right there. Talking about morality, there's a situation involving two Liberians who are out of the country. Many of you who know this position, Liberia, permanent representative to the International Maritime Organization. That's the position that was headed by Mr. Isaac Jackson, right? Isaac Jackson, Councillor Isaac. Is he a councillor now or attorney? That big brother, tough talking. So Isaac Jackson was the head of was Liberia's permanent representative to the International Maritime Organization in the U.S. But now he has been replaced by Moses Owen Brown. Moses Owen Brown, along with another Liberian, are currently under police custody in South Korea, according to the Front Page Africa report. So these two, Mr. Brown and Daniel Tarr, they are all Liberian officials who have been held right now in South Korea, along with his colleague, Mr. Daniel Tarr, like I said, for alleged rape. And according to them, said they were framed. So Mr. Brown is Liberia's permanent representative to the International Maritime Organization based in the UK, sorry, not US, based in the UK, while Tarr is the director of the Department of Maritime Environmental Protection. So the pair had arrived or traveled to Busan, South Korea, to attend the GHG Smart Practical Training and Study visit, which ran from September 19th to the 23rd. To the story now. They had gone there to attend a very important occasion. But as it is, sometimes guys go places, and I'm not going to dictate to you what to say, what to not say, but it wouldn't be fair to judge these people, that, hey, the guys, they have their wives, and so why did they go chill with other people? According to the information, according to their own account, that they were in South Korea, and they needed somebody to take them around to buy a cell phone. All right. According to Front Page Africa's report, that it quoted Mr. Owen Brown, Liberia's permanent representative to International Maritime Organization in the UK. So the two young women, according to their two, the information about their ages, it's not exact. One report have it that the other one is 13, the other one is 16, and is it 13 or 16? While the other report, another version of the report have it that they're 21 and 26 respectively. All right. So the two young women agreed to take them around. So they had gone around and they went to the mall, and they bought the cell phone, and they move around, and so in the end, maybe through the conversation, through gentlemen conversation, young women, young men, and young men conversation, the girls ended up at their hotel where they were lodging. So the girls ended up there whatever happened, what happened there, what didn't happen, all those things took place behind camera, behind the scene. So we do not want to be graphic, to paint a picture on your mind before you start seeing images that I don't want to be here responsible for creating images on your mind. But they ended up in their hotel. Two women, according to the report, ended up in the young man hotel. So after a while, they started hearing the banging sound on their doors. So they heard it first time. They called the receptionist at the hotel. What's going on? And according to the information, the receptionist did not respond favorably. The receptionist hung up the call. It is when the guys look at the whole thing that, wow, this thing was like a plan. We were framed. So they called the other people who are Liberians from the maritime, and they informed them that, hey, you guys, those are being banked on by the police. It's like the girls had informed the police that they were in a situation, they were being sexually harassed, they were being sexually molested by these two guys. But before then, according to the report here, Mr. Brown mentioned to the Front Page Africa, reportedly mentioned to the Front Page Africa, that the other girl reached out to her friend to bring her clothes since she was going to be sleeping out, with the guys. And in fact, the clothes was brought, so she got something to change the next day. So meaning this is it was a well calculated thing. Four mature people together. They had the interaction based on consent. Whatever happened there was based on consent. But according to the information, Mr. Owen Brown's account says that he was astonished to hear that the girls accused them of rape. So when they contacted the Liberia Maritime Organization, the authority there, it says Liberia Maritime Authority will fully cooperate now. It is stated in a statement, will fully cooperate with the government of the Republic of South Korea in the investigation of this incident and vows to take appropriate actions pursuant to national and international law. So these guys are saying no. This thing, we were framed. And these women, were not harassed. They reached out to us. We had a frank conversation. And I think this is not something that people should frame. But here is an activist pointing at something. When something happens in news reporting, there's something they call backgrounding of a story. So when you hear that Matthias has stolen 1 million United States dollars, you want to report on Matthias, you want to go back to Matthias's life yesterday, whether he has a record of stealing. Then you background it. You say, well, some time ago, Matthias stole $5,000 from this company where he used to work. Matthias did this, Matthias did that. So you background it. An activist here called Niswa Livingstone posted on social media stating that Monkey can't leave his black palm behind. He raped a child that lived with him in 2018. So this activist is saying that Mr. Owen Brown has a record of raping. In sometime in 2018, there was an allegation levied against him of raping a child that was living with him. So he and his wife, according to the information, they had to move from their usual residence at the time. Let me read the exact quote reported by Smart News Liberia, quoting this particular activist. And Front Page Africa is citing the quote here. It says, we ran after an alleged rape case involving this same Moses Owen Brown as the accused perpetrator. And the little girl who used to live with him and his wife. While running about seeking justice for the survivor, Moses Owen Brown and his wife moved out of the airfield residence. When we looked, he was given a job by the Liberian government out of this country, leaving the case hanging. Monkey can't leave his black hands behind. So this is Smart News Liberia quoting the child rights advocate as saying, and this is published by the Front Page African newspaper. So you see the background, somebody's connecting, something to him, that whether he has a record of ever being, involved into some rape, incident or so. And this is the report that's coming out now. But the maritime authorities has, have informed the Front Page Africa that is going to cooperate with the South Korean government to ensure that this is investigated. But the two men has since, denied the allegation that they were framed, terming the allegation as an attempt, for people to get at them. They were framed by some unscrupulous individuals. The gender ministry here has condemned the information as well. And the gender ministry is calling, let me read the exact statement coming from the gender ministry. Gender ministry calls on the Liberia Maritime Authority to, where applicable, immediately recall these officials. And if found guilty, Limard should not hesitate in taking appropriate actions against them, including dismissal and the pursuance of sentencing, as is allowed under the laws and jurisdictions of both South Korea and Liberia. MGCSP admonishes all government officials and the Liberian populace at large to be circumspect in daily interactions at home or abroad, and to continue to join hands with GOL in the fight against sexual and gender-based violence. So the gender ministry is pushing a point here that we're not saying that because of the allegation, they are guilty already. But just by the fact that two of our permanent representatives, two Liberians representing the country in such a capacity, they should be recalled. Recalling them would mean now that, hey, you guys should withdraw your position for now. All right. We're not dismissing you. But what's going to happen is that we're going to how do you what's the word? We're going to strip you of your immunities for now. We're going to take everything from you. We're not going to consider you a Matthias Larbeindee, the talk show host of the 50/50 show, co-host of the 50/50 show, and host of Sky Morning Live. So we're going to take you off the radio until you can clear your name from this rape allegation. So recall this person, hey, come back home. But they cannot come back home, by the way. They have to stay there and go through the process. So what's going to happen is that what I think the gender ministry is seeking now is that these guys should be removed from their position for now. They should not be representing Liberia in that area. They should be treated as ordinary Liberians, though they're going to be represented by their lawyers. They're going to be represented. They're going to, the government is going to stand behind them. But if they're found guilty, they're going to be punished according to the laws of South Korea. All right. But currently, they are still under police custody. They've not gone to court yet, and they're going to be given their day in court. Here is why this matter, this particular allegation against these two men is really grave. Here is why it's grave, and it raises eyebrows both locally and internationally. President George Weah was recently at the UN General Assembly, and he boasted of being the feminist in chief. And in his direct voice, he said, I would like to inform you that my government, together with UN partners, is implementing the EU Spotlight initiative to end violence and harmful traditional practices against women and girls and promote their sexual and reproductive health and rights. So, calling himself as feminist in chief, he said, I think I read the last paragraph before the first. So let me read the first paragraph now. He said, to this end, we have developed the legal framework, including the ratification of regional and international instruments to address gender inequalities, which are being carried out as a result of social cultural perceptions, practices, and stereotypes that support male dominance and the subordination of women. So the president is totally against harassment against women, sexual gender-based violence in the country. So taking this information, taking his position that he took locally against sexual gender-based violence, taking the same position at the UN General Assembly, it speaks volume that the president is concerned about the welfare of women. Therefore, this matter, whether these guys are accused falsely, but the good thing is what I seek, what I would expect, both from the South Korean government and our government here, that this should not be a political motive. It should not be a racist act against our brothers. Okay, it should not be something that people just thought to use these young women. Maybe they saw these guys moving with these young women, and somebody quickly placed a call and spoke to them in whatever language they may have been spoken to. That hey, we need you guys to do something for us. We want you guys to set you guys up, come up with some lies. We're going to pay people some money so that you guys, the guys can be punished. We do not want them to come back as we don't want them to serve in that capacity. Maybe somebody else is eyeing that particular position. We hope that this is not a political manipulation, but it's a legal thing, and it's something that actually happened. However, we must condemn the action in its totality. We must condemn the action. Both sexual harassment here, there, or yonder is sexual harassment against every woman. So it's very important that we recognize that. Let me quickly add one more point before I speak with the program director of Educate the Next Gen. All right, that's ETN, Mr. Ernest T.L. Dole. Before I speak with Mr. Dole, I want to ask a question. How many of us remember how long has it been since the president did inspection of warehouses in the country that are storing rice? It's not been long yet. I think it's just if my memory can serve me, maybe 3-4 months ago, the president did an inspection because there was this information about people not finding rice in the stores, provision shops, and so there was this problem. There was a serious problem regarding rice issue. So the president said there's rice. The government said there's rice in the country. Why would people, keep the rice? But what is happening to me? I mean, right now in Liberia, for me, it seems to me as though the president does not have control over the government. But this has been the major concern of many people, many political pundits in the country. This has been a major concern that President Weah does not have control over the state of affairs of the country. That in one breath, he appears to be a president, I mean, taking care of things, appearing to be taking care of stuff in the country. But on the other hand, the reality on the ground does not represent the presence of a sitting leader in a country. Why do I say so? This may sound condescending to some of you who are operatives or apologists of the government. I don't mean to denigrate the office of the president. If it sounds that way, I'd apologize for that. But I think it's heart aching that as parents will be fighting to generate money to pay their children's school fees, they cannot also get a cup of rest to prepare breakfast for these very children to go to school in the morning. You know how that, for me, it feels like you were sick when we're in the interior, in the jungle. I know Market and Mopolo didn't do that. The boys, they came to the city very soon. But we did that. You go in the jungle, you get hurt, you don't have medication, you use pepper. We used to use pepper. How many of us put pepper to our souls? So imagine you are hurt and your friends are saying the only medication available is to pick some ripe pepper and put it there. So according to them, it ease the pain. But in the end, they'll get some other leaves and put it there. So right now, already, it is a serious wound on the hearts and minds of people, parents that are struggling to pay their children's school fees. Then they go to the small stores, the small shops around in the community, they cannot find rice. But here is the frustrating thing though. The rice dealers, many of them are complaining about this situation. That you go to the Freeport to buy rice, maybe you went to buy 10, once you are a dealer, you go to buy a huge quantity of rice to carry to your shop in the community to sell to the people. You will be made to buy another commodity. Let's take, for example, the rice distributor, the importer brought rice in the country. But even though they do not have permit to import milk, they do not have permit to import sugar, they do not have permit to import beans or whatever they may attach to their commodity, which is rice. They only have permit to import rice in the country. Now, the business people are finding it difficult now, according to the information, to get rice. If you are lucky to see some, you will be compelled to buy certain quantity of cartons of milk, carton of another commodity that particular rice distributor is selling. So you buy if you get 50 bags of rice, you have to buy certain quantity of another commodity, which is very disturbing. So meaning when they take that particular commodity to the shop, if you went there to buy a hot bag already, 25 kg, that rice dealer in the shop too will tell you, say, hey, the shop owner will tell you, say, you know what I mean? my rice is 2,400, but you have to buy 2 tins of milk. Imagine, I don't want to drink milk. That milk time, I'm looking for real something to go cook something and eat. Then you talking about milk? What do you with milk? Some people barely drink tea, even with the price of electricity. The percolators barely, get water to drink tea. All right. So because of the economic situation in the country, I think there's a need. The government addresses this issue is very, very disturbing, and we must wake up to it, because if there is nothing in this country that is a political commodity, I think it goes without saying that rice is the political commodity. And if you allow for it to be politicized, if some strong politicians in this country are behind the shortage of the rice, as some of the government apologists will come up with their own analysis that maybe, hey, the guys, they have gotten in contact with the rice dealers to expose the weakness of the government, to suppress the government. Whoever is behind this, that's why we have a government in place. It must act, and act now. Let's go to Mr. Ernest T.L. Dolly. Mr. Dolly is the director, the program director of Educate the Next Generation. Educate the Next Generation had a program yesterday honoring some valedictorians at schools. I mean, valedictorians of high schools, both in Montserrat and other counties. Our reporter, Michael Bayo, was at the program. He attended the program. He provided coverage for the program. But Mr. Dollar is joining me shortly. Is joining me now on the line for just 3 or 4 minutes, to tell us quickly about that program, how it went, what actually happened there, why was it necessary. But let's hear from Mr. Dolly. Good morning, Mr. Dolly. Welcome to Sky Morning Live on Sky.
Good morning to Matthias, and good morning to the peace-loving people of Liberia, specifically those listening to Sky FM this morning.
And I want to thank you personally and apologize first to your team for not gracing your occasion. Like I said, when I called you yesterday, my day was full of higgledy-piggledy from one program, from one activity to another. But it's good that Sky was represented and will provide coverage. But I just thought to reach out to you to appreciate you again, for this initiative, for highlighting and promoting academic excellence in the country. Thank you so much, Dolly, to you and your team.
Yeah, thank you, Matthias, and sincerely with our whole heart, we are fully accepted, and I want to extend thanks and appreciation to you and the Sky family on behalf of my team, including our Director for Administration and Innovation, Brother Isaac Mwapo, who is in South Africa. So I want to thank you to Sky family for attending the event yesterday, sending one of the reporters to cover the entire activity. So thank you. So fast forward to the activity yesterday.
Yeah,
we are so grateful, right, to all those who turned up yesterday. Yesterday event was historic, and we say it was the specific time in Liberia's history. There have been no such event since Liberia was founded, where students from more than one county gathered to be celebrated for their brilliance in academic performance. Right? So yesterday we witnessed 7 county students from Bong, Nimba, Mangiri, Basso, Monserrato, Grand Cape Mount, and Bombing counties converging in a hall to be celebrated for the academic performance.
So who are the students that you targeted from those counties? Are they valedictorians of the schools, or just students with setting grade points?
So for the various counties, we targeted valedictorians. So we wrote the schools in those counties, asked them to send the name, average, and contact number of the valedictorian of the 12th grade class. And gracefully, the 95% of those schools in the counties, accepted our request, and they started cooperating with us that 4 months ago, right? And as God will have it, we had the information, and we called those students, informed them, and set up dates for interview. We rigorously interviewed those students, and right after the interview process, these students were admitted into the Liberia National Academic Excellence Award program to be recipient of the Liberia National Academic Excellence Awards.
What does the award mean, Mr. Dollar? What does it mean, to the students, and what should it mean to other students who would like to so much be part of this award next time?
But Matthias, I think you may know that in Liberian schools, the issue of competition is lacking. the issue of meritocracy is lacking, right? So this particular program, what it does is that it increases meritocracy in school and it increases competition, because if student John Brown from Buffet High in Bond County came to Monrovia on Thursday, participated in a meet and greet at Tiffany office with our partner Tiffany, had a training on Friday, day-long training in different areas, leadership, digital literacy, opportunity search, different things. On Saturday, that student participated in a day-long sports activity, and on Sunday, that student was seen on the B stage, receiving a national academic accolade for his academic performance. What it does is that it encourages the person or those students in his womb to be students, because next time they want to come to Monrovia to experience him. The student in that school, in that very student John school, will be encouraged to say, who will be the next John from this buffet? Who will be the next John? That's what he does. Yes. Student coming from Nima County. There's one student called Blaze. Student Blaze is 30 years old. Student Blaze became a breadwinner of his family at early age, thus dropping him from school. And at the end of the day, Blaze didn't feel deterred. Blaze mastered the courage, went back to school, the St. Louis Catholic School. Blaze does the school with 94 average, and Blaze became the highest average earner in Nimba County. That's an encouragement. So other people who are at Blaze's age, who felt deterred from going to school, they can go out of school. They can say, oh yes, this person go out of school, he was encouraged. And it's a message to all students. Not because the person is older than you should disrespect the person and bully the person. So Blaze will be served as an ambassador of ETN in Nimba County. He will be encouraging his fellow colleagues who are of his age to go back to school and muster the courage and do what he can do in high schools. So that's the essence of this program, Brother Matthias. And we are so grateful for everything that was done yesterday and the other days before yesterday. And trust me, the next edition of this particular project will be massive, and we're hoping to expand to 10 counties instead of 7 counties by the grace of God. And we have a few people, our partners and the students and schools administrators. We will make sure and achieve such mark.
Quickly, let me just, before I leave you quickly, I'm going to extend an invite so you guys can come here with some of the honorees, so we can have a conversation. Maybe we can get them on the line from their Vera counties so they can join it and motivate other students right now. But what is in the award? Is it just a piece of paper? Sorry if to put it that way. Is it just students receiving a paper and they're going back to their Vera counties? What do they show to their friends that they have been awarded? How do they demonstrate what is given to them? Is it a tangible? Is it just a certificate or some kind of token?
The first tangible is the training that they got. Most of them, in terms of public speaking, digital literacy, they were lacking, right? So there are many things in terms of the training. They got the knowledge of one. 2, they got celebrated on the B stage where stakeholders saw them. 3, we have partners who are willing to provide scholarship opportunities for some of those students. The program was yesterday, and beginning Wednesday, we'll start the engagement, and those students will be informed. And beyond that, we have a whole 1 year multiple projects that include mentorship, that include different things, right? And we'll keep engaging with the students. And after tomorrow, after yesterday, the students will be in language to know. The reason why you see most of the Zogos on the street are very smart is only because those Zogos, some of them, they were so brilliant in their school, they do their schools in a very high school. But after high school, there was no follow-up on them to guard that career path. At the end of the day, the community consumed them and they became addicted to drugs and other substances. And today they are in the streets. But we said no to that. We will continue to follow up on our students so as to prepare them for the future. Guess what?
What?
These students this year, right? They will be the organizers for next year's award ceremony. So it tells you that these students will not be left alone. They have to show, and this organization will continue to follow up on the students.
Thank you so much, Dole, and thanks to your team.
Quickly to close, I want to inform the public that not only valedictorians were awarded yesterday. Yesterday, the best debater was awarded, the most eloquent speaker was awarded, because these people came from the national debate competition. The best question was awarded as well. It was being posted by the LMDR, the best English student, best science student, best historian, the best mathematician, as well as the best storyteller and the best poet of the year. So all these categories were formed within the Liberia National Academic Excellence Award yesterday. So it was massive, and we look up to the public for support for the next edition.
Okay, thank you so much, Dolly.
Thank you so much, Matthias.
And this team, Educate the Next Generation, is joining a number of educators in the country and as well as advocates for quality education in Liberia to change the narratives and turn up and take a paradigm shift in ensuring that the image of Liberia is painted positively. Now you can join the conversation with the plate so low there. Let's have breakfast. Which one would you like to call? Call us on the numbers 0777 777 107, 0777 777 107, 0777 221 223. Call us on this alternative line 0770 682598, 0770 682598. Call us on 0777 777 107. Like I said, at 8 o'clock this morning, 8 to 9 o'clock, we're going to be speaking to the business community. It's going to be represented by Mr. Dominic Nimile. Dominic is the president of the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia. It's important that we go back into the business community to know what's happening there, because a number of people are complaining about shortage of some commodities and the pinch that business people continue to go through. Join the conversation now. We've highlighted a number of developments here this morning. Call us on those numbers 0777 777 107, 0777 777 107, or call us on 0770 6825 98 and be live on the program this morning. This is Sky Morning Live on Sky 107.1. We bring you what we term as unbiased analysis on issues of national concern, and you join the conversation. We all can have a conversation together all of the time. But let's hear you now. Call us on those numbers 0777 777 107, 0777 777 107, 0777 777 107, 0770 6825 98. You'll be live on the program this morning. So yes, we highlighted a number of issues, and we mentioned about the situation involving some of our brothers. All right, our Liberian brothers representing Liberia in out of the country in the UK. So it's really really unfortunate that this happened to us as a nation. We hope that this is not true. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning.
Kemuka, you have the call back. Let's hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I need if Joseph will talk about it.
Go ahead, Joseph.
Yeah, to the issue of the rice. I don't tell what for the local about the rice. Locally, Liberian that in the market. There's a government that person that me will enter in the bush and struggle there for the government to run campaign and bring the government into power. This government has bring shame to us. Personally, person like me will take my time from Moravia and go Bon Country.
Okay, he left the line. He said the government has brought shame to him. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning, Matthias.
Good morning, Kemuka.
Well, Matthias, I'm sorry, man. I mean, I start my usual every morning. Woke up, but because I'm on the weather.
Sorry about that.
Matthias, you speak on variety of issues. The issue of moral responsibility.
Yeah.
It's very key is that I think moral come with a little bit of conscience. If you have conscience, like Maggie if Maggie have conscience, you're not even thinking about running. They're thinking about saving, a character on the land. You got a conscience, not telling you to do so you don't have time for it. So it simply means I don't have conscience. And another thing, Matthias, I think the literacy rate is very high. Our people need to be school, Matthias, honestly. The literacy rate in the country is very high. Somebody is already being sanctioned. Corruption scheme is already hanging on top of our head. Then they come in your district or your county to say, they won't run. Then you praise the idea, Matthias. What does that tell you? It simply means our people are not school. Most of them are illiterate.
Wow. Thank you so much. So I asked that question. What is actually the problem? Is it the society that promotes these kind of acts, or it is just the normal thing that people just ignore moral issues? People just ignore morality. But let's have a conversation. You two can do the same. Join us on the numbers 0777 0770682598. Let's hear from this other person. Good morning.
Morning, Matthias. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Let's hear you.
And then it's Weber Scotty, and then I call from Town there.
Go ahead.
You know, the last caller I just dropped the lamb. I listened with him. You know, good at Mangio and the other guy that was sanctioned by the American government. Those guys, I was saying they can look at them and petition them to run in their district and even in their country. It's a disgrace to us as a Liberian. Okay, so it's a serious issue that we need to address. So one of the things is that the electricity rate, people are not much educated, and those guys lie on them at the end of the day. Sometimes we have gold and change $2,000 United dollars to Liberian dollars, is 100,000, 200,000. They carry in the community, and just give it to the people. At the end, you will see they will jump behind them and make a wrong choice. So that the wrong choice are suffering in this country. Yeah. So we need to work on our mind, our attitude, our behavior.
Okay.
I think it was several right.
Thank you so much, and that's why. Thank you. Thank you. I want to be, and I'm going to continue to lend my support to the group ETN, educate the next generation, because they are engaging the minds. They're not promoting violence, but instead they are looking at academic excellence that's going to, bring some sense of positive jealousy in the hearts and minds of our students. Let's hear from this other person. Good morning.
Good morning, Matthias.
Good morning, sir.
This is DJ Lome calling from Coward.
Mr. Lome, go ahead, make your point.
Matthias, the government is still doing business with McGee, an alleged criminal. McGee has been seen around with LMTV everywhere that he goes. And we know LMTV is for the Liberian people and controlled by government, by the state.
No. Just a moment. LMTV is Liberia National Television. Is that correct?
Yes, that is true.
And the reporters, they go for news. Is that correct?
That is true.
So you don't restrict news coverage. That's one thing we need to get straight.
Matthias,
you do not restrict news coverage. You cover news.
Matthias,
yeah.
Let's get it straight. The American government in the Larbeindee, nobody should do business with the people. So you know that there are state and resources going over there. When the American government are warned that nobody should do business with these people, Matana Magi has money to go to any media institution to hire them to go. But it shouldn't be the LMTV. You know that Ono Mana Ellen, because of President, we are appearing to LMTV or manager was dismissed from there. And we know these things are important. You will never find LMTV where the government don't take power with you, don't let you, that will go and cover your program.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lome. Let's join the viewer for 5 minutes of news. We'll be right back.
President on Sunday as splits sharpened in Europe over whether to welcome or turn away Russians fleeing the call to turn up. Speaking to the U.S. broadcaster CBS News, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky also said that he is bracing for more Russians and the strikes on Ukraine's electrical infrastructure as the Kremlin seeks to ramp up the pressure on Ukraine and its Western backers as the weather gets colder. Zelensky warned that this winter will be very difficult. He portrayed the Russian mobilization, its first such call-up since World War II, as a sign of weakness and not strength, saying that they admitted that their army is not able to fight with Ukraine anymore. Typhoon Nuru blew out of the northern Philippines on Monday, leaving 5 rescuers dead, causing floods and power outages and forcing officials to suspend classes and government work in the capital and outlying provinces The most powerful typhoon to hit the country this year slammed into the coast and the town province before nightfall on Sunday, then weakened as it barreled overnight across the main Luzon region, where thousands of people were moved to emergency shelters, some of them forcibly, according to officials. There is more at voanews.com. This is VOA News. North Korea has fired a short-range ballistic missile towards its eastern seas, extending a provocative streak in weapons testing as a U.S. aircraft carrier visits the South Korean area for joint military exercises in response to the North's growing nuclear threat. South Korea Joint Chiefs of Staff said that the missile launched Sunday from the western inland town of Daejeon and flew 370 miles cross-country on a maximum altitude of 37 miles before landing in waters off North Korea's eastern coast. It's possible that Sunday's test could soon be followed with another ballistic launch. South Korean officials said Saturday that they detected signs that North Korea was preparing to test a missile designed to be fired from submarines. Iran's foreign ministry says that it has summoned Britain's ambassador to protest what is described as a hostile atmosphere created by London-based Farsi language media outlet. The move announced on Sunday comes amid violent unrest in Iran triggered by the death of a young woman in police custody. The state-run internet news agency reported the ministry also summoned Norway's ambassador to Iran and strongly protested recent remarks by the president of the Norwegian parliament. The death of the 22-year-old Masa Amini in custody after being detained by Iranian morality police set off unrest across Iran's provinces and the capital, Tehran, that killed at least 11. Cuba is holding a rare referendum on an unusually contentious law, a government-backed code that would allow same-sex couples to marry and adopt. It also outlines the rights of children and grandparents and tries to protect against gender violence. The code of more than 400 articles has been questioned by many members of the island's increasingly vocal evangelical community. The President Miguel Diaz-Canel has promoted the law, but acknowledged Sunday that it still has issues that our society as a whole does not understand. Recapping our top story, Russia's rush to mobilize hundreds of thousands of recruits to stop the stinging losses in Ukraine is said to be a tacit acknowledgement that the army is not ready to fight, according to Ukraine's president, as he spoke to U.S. news broadcaster CBS. There is more at voanews.com. Via remote, I'm Tommy McNeil, VOA News.
Listen to my testimony, people of God. Make I tell you, let's see Papa gonna do it. He make my enemy all of the fear for it. When I ask lady, be so how you made it. I've come to tell you, say Jehovah God has done it. It's in my ashes, in the peace, come and see it. It's the reason I am living today. There is nothing a greater than pain. Everybody show me, let's praise it. Papa, I follow me, I'll be getting the this is all that you are worthy, worthy of my praise. Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nissi, you the reason God I am breathing. Without your grace, my love is incomplete. Show me let her praise, let us give him some praise. He is worthy, let her praise his name. Show me let her praise, oh Lord. Praise Papa God, praise the Lord, praise Papa God, praise the Lord. Let us praise him, Jehovah is worthy, praise the Lord. Everything I have prayed to me, let us give him praise. He's the reason I will live here. There is nothing greater than him, with me. Thank you, Jesus, for your power manifestation. Look at the place you took me from and the level you are taking me. Papa, I follow me, I'm beginning in the end. Patience of this a solution. Ebubedike, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nissi, you the reason for I am breathing. Without your grace, that I am nobody. I'll say praise. There is nothing great on his name. He is able to do all things. I'll give you the praise because you my care. I'll give you the praise because you my Yahweh. Give him all the praise. Oh, you are worthy of my praise. I'll lift it up your name. Yes, yes, you are worthy of my praise. Patience of it, we give you praise. Show me let her keep jet over praise. There is nothing that my dog can do. Yahweh, I praise your name because you are able. I praise your name because you are worthy. Hey, Baba. Hey, Baba. Hey, Baba. I said, praise Baba. Praise Yahweh. Let us praise Yahweh. Praise Papa. Show me let us praise Papa.
And that's it. Let's praise Baba. Let's praise Jehovah. Let's thank him for his loving kindness. His mercies endure forever. Let's continue to give him the respect that he deserves as our creator, the creator of this architectural universe. That lady, she goes by the stage name Lady Piso. Lady Piso, her story is quite interesting. She's from the ghetto. A few years back, Lady Piso was rapping. She was doing freestyle in the ghetto for her friends in the ghetto. She was the entertainer in some of the ghettos here. But now Lady Piso is a transformed person. She's singing for God. I think she has recorded an album, and she has a management team that is taking care of her, thanks to other Liberians who have tapped in her talents and they've taken her from the street and have given her a new life. And it's an opportunity for you out there too that is doing something out of the way that's deviated from your usual goals, your initial plans. By the way, it is an admonition to you to ensure that you wake up, open your eyes, and come to the realization that you know that this is important for you to do the right thing. But like I said, we've highlighted a number of issues here this morning. We talk about morality. We're talking about people whose name are involved into corruption. They are accused of corruption, but yet they are vying for positions in certain areas of the country. But at the same time, we also talk about this rice issue. Is rice shut on the market? Can Mr. Nimle, give me an answer on what actually going on here, in Liberia, because they are the people who understand the business sector, what is actually happening. Just this morning, I just highlighted the rice issue. One of my listeners said, "Hey, this thing is not just rice, Matthias. It's other issues, other commodities." We also talked about the issue of politics. All right, going forward, we talk about whether this is it is still a political commodity. People are still using rice today to visit communities, and once they can take few bags of rice ahead of their arrival there, that the people can cook enough so they can gather together and eat together. I think they are still using it as a political commodity. Why should it get missing? In fact, but that is not really the main issue. But it's on my chest as well, so I'm going to let it out to tell the businessman, to ask the businessman to tell us quickly about what actually is the situation. But there are other issues, according to my research, that's confronting the business community. You can join the conversation too. My name is Matthias Larbeindee. The program you're listening to is Sky Morning Live on Sky 107.1. We have Mr. Dominic Nimile, president of the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia. He represents the Liberia Business Association as well, LIBA. But Mr. Dominic, welcome. Mr. Nimile, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Natalia. Good morning to the Sky FM family, and good morning to the peace-loving people of Liberia as well.
Thank you. It's been a while since we spoke. I usually like to make the rounds on some of the people I interact with on variety of issues, and that's how I've come back to hear from you. How is business? How are things ahead of election? As people would say, that I think by now, some expect that there will be some stability in whatever sector, because obviously sometimes government will go for re-election. But I'm not bringing the politics out of this. But I just want to know from you, how is business going?
Well, I would like to say to this platform first, we are not political, we are not partisan, we're not religion. And on the angle of business, I think we bless God for His grace. The matter of fact that you can wake up and see daylight, you can scratch your hand, you can scratch your leg. I consider it as a $1 million blank check. Make use of it.
That one is God's mercy.
So
that
that
He
is
wakes
mercy
you up.
that is
Yeah,
carrying
he
you and
wakes you
myself.
up in the morning and you are alive.
Yeah.
But while we're mentioning God's mercy, the government is next to God. So the government should provide the environment for you to enjoy God's mercy upon your life. The mercy for you to wake up is not all through life. The next thing is that you use your hands to survive. Are you getting the results of what your hands, are doing?
We are trying our best.
Trying? How do you mean?
Trying our best to see what we make of ourselves. We've been spectators for decades.
Are you still
understand
spectators?
about it, so it's an open secret. But
Are you still spectators?
well, I'm trying to leave the spectator feed. and
You're trying after
I-
many years. Dominic, you've been doing business for a very long time. By the way,
I-
Dominic is the owner of the American used car dealers, there on Capitol Bypass, right behind the Total gas station. He's the president of the used car dealers association of Liberia. And then he's the chair on trade and commerce at the Liberia Business Association. This man is the president of the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia, Patel. So he's not a newcomer in business. For me, it breaks my heart, Dominic, I must put it to you, to tell me that you are still trying after many years. Are you guys on survival mode in this country, or you guys are flourishing?
Liberian owned businesses on survival mode.
Survival mode.
It's an open secret. The banks don't give Liberian loans. Liberian owned businesses loans. The government as well. Government after government, not just this government, really don't protect Liberian owned businesses. The Liberianization policies that we've been fighting, like for example, our 100% retailer right from Manassetti regime to today's date, we haven't gotten it. And we are still in the van of appealing to our government. Well, we cannot fight them. We cannot fight them. We don't want nobody to see or to be enemy to the states and etc.
Ellen deny
So,
you.
Ellen
Ellen deny you
denies
100% retailers
retailer
right.
rights.
Recently, you launched a campaign. Let me recap on that quickly before I forget. You launched a campaign requesting $50 million United States dollars from the government to include it in the budget and give it to you, the business people, as loans.
Yeah.
You, the business people who are insiders of the business community, would then look at the business people, your fellow business colleagues that are really in dire need of some assistance, and you're going to pay back the loan to the government. Where are you people with that? Has government, hearkened to your concern?
So that money in question was agreed upon by the 15 counties. It was agreed upon by all president of all sectors in Liberia, talking about from the Rebarrel Association to the Tailor Union to the scrap dealers and Yana Boris, Rebarrel, market women, you name it. It was agreed upon by everyone. I mean, from the 15 counties.
Every
not
business
just
person
Morocco.
involved into
For
setting
example,
commodity.
the tailor unions cried, the president of the tailor union, we are making the deliberations. He shed tears like a baby. And he said that being a tailor is a career, it's not a crown. But since we are learning this trade, we just sitting and doing nothing, absolutely nothing. And everything is being imported into this country from China. And it's about time that we patronize our own. It's about time that we get to be part. We get to be in Cleveland. We get to be on the field playing. But our machines, our tailoring machines have been packed for years from Manasadi government up to present. And we need those machines to dust them up. We need to be taking the contract to sew uniform for the ERU, for the National Police, for the AFL, for the nursings, for the government schools, for the Polar Patrol DE, and etc. And he was right when he said those things. So we came to a conclusion. Everybody affixed the signature that we request government to give us $50 million. And this $50 million, we don't want it as freed. We want it as a loan for the period of 3 to 5 years. And this loan, this time around, we're not going to take the cash and dish it out to business persons.
Okay.
Like the tailor union, for example, will get in the modern last machines to design face cap, to do engraving and etc. We'll bring in the tester, which is the cloth, the materials to sew those uniforms for those entities that I spoke of, to sew the purple suit. Now, purple suit is coming from China. We should be the one facing it.
Yeah.
It's for Africans.
Since the
it should be
president,
made by
our president avatars.
It should be made by Africans. All right. It shouldn't be made by Westerners, Asians. No, it should be made by us. It is our culture. Weird. So we came up with this 50 million, and this $50 million, we want the interest rate on it to be between 4 to 6%, in the sense that the government is helping to create jobs for its people. In a sense that the government that loaned is going to help through all the 15 counties, because the government cannot give jobs to everybody. Every country will know about that. We have to help ourselves. And we said to the government, in this way, that would be the way that we can help ourselves. And you know, it is not something that's going to come overnight from the government as well. They're going to work on it. We took it to the Commerce Minister, Larbeindee, because she worked directly with the business community, and she read it. And she knocked her head to it and told I and the president and others that accompanied us that day that it is a good thing, and she's going to push it forward. And this 50 million we're asking for, if you're selling slippers in Granger, we will bring you slippers. If you're selling used shoes, we will bring you shoes and give it to you at a cheaper rate that you will be able to sell. And because the concept of doing business is maximize profit, and you'll be able to sell these slippers. Those of you that are selling t-shirts, we'll go to Kumabelo and Son and buy the tissue from him wholesale to Fuma. We'll buy the tissue from him wholesale. We'll give it to you. Those are you that are selling tassel. We'll bring the tassel by container. Those are you that are selling onion, matches. We'll bring those things in high quantity and supply it to you through the various counties. We'll have people on motorcycles going to you on a daily and weekly basis to collect and, you know, make sure that all businesses be registered with government, get taxes. Make sure that the people, those business owners be able to pay the children's school fee, the children not being thrown out of school. That is the concept of that $50 million. But we yet to receive it. But we know that we talked to the Commerce Minister, the president of the Liberian Business Association, His Excellency James Schroeder, spoke with the Commerce Minister, and she told him that she's working on a close day with the president. We wait to see that to come to make fruit, because it is one big way to help Liberians. If you check around Natalia, you'll see somebody will come to you and ask you for $20 or groom or man.
Every day,
and he will take that $20, go to the Manjua market, the new Manjua market, Waterside. He cannot afford the bag of used shoes, but he will buy 2-3 pairs that he will pass around with it. We all even eating under the sun and under the rain. We have our sister doing the same thing. If you check around today, you see a lot of women floating the street with pen or widow market on the head, selling biscuits, selling whatever they can lay their hand on. Some of those things are expired goods. They're selling it just so they can. The tire sitting home, the tire playing checkouts, the tire playing Ludo. So our government, meaning the legislature, because you have the oversight. The president came out and said, "You don't want us to be spectator." Mr. Representative, Mr. Senators, what are you doing to help us to not be spectators in our economy?
To demonstrate the president's
statement. To do something concerning what the president said. We expect you to come up with a budget, but you only care about yourself.
But you talk about the legislature coming up with a budget. You know, I want to know the further step you've taken regarding pushing this proposal to the government. Now, you reached out to the Commerce Minister. According to you, she bought the idea, which is a good thing. Usually what people do, like the cosmetology guys did here, they reduce their thing into a bill and submit it. are you considering engaging the legislature directly, not just relying on the commerce minister, because she's appointed.
I think you're
by the
one
president.
of those that know what I can do, what I've been doing my
Absolutely. That's why I just want to know
if
whether
I'm telling you that I took something to the commerce minister, you should know very well, understand that they have met the upper house and the lower house. But those
they
guys
have hard copy of this
hard
proposal?
copy they have, and they have been having hard copies for the last 15 years that I have been around, pushing for the rights of Liberian-owned businesses, pushing for the rights for Liberians at large. We always give them, we always petition them. But trust me, when you go to them, when you're talking, they will knock their head and say, yes, yes, yes. When you turn your back, that's it.
And recently, interestingly, you heard this issue about the bill from the Senate that is seeking to give them some incentives even when they shall have been defeated as senators. And
that is an abomination.
Senators. So you look at
you see what they can push.
Now,
yes,
I want to look at the $50 million you pushing for that's going to elevate business people.
It will help to stop a lot of beggars going to their houses so they can rest, because most of those beggars coming from the constituencies.
Right.
All right. Mm-hmm. If we go to Ganta, we go to Grange, we go to Bopolu, we go to Grand Bassa, and we share those commodities. We share those who sort of receive cash. Mm-hmm. They will create jobs for most of the people that are coming to them for scholarship and etc. It will be easing the burden on them as legislators, as representatives, as senators. All right. Mm. But they're not in the interest of the people. I always said that our bigger problem in Liberia is the representatives and senators. They have the power of mantle in their hands. They have it.
But the president, though, saying that Liberians will not be spectators in their own economy, how is he matching that statement with action? I want you to speak to me as a business person.
That's why we have come up as Liberian-owned businesses, Matthias, to do the $50 million. And we have been crying.
Yeah, he should run with it then. We demonstrate that he means
we
what
look
he said.
up for it to happen. For the commerce minister told the president of the Liberian Business Association, which is my boss, and said that they are working closely on it anytime. Mm-hmm. They will be coming up with something. We expect to see that something. The start of it is okay. If they can't even give the 50, any amount they can give, we will start with it. And we'll demonstrate to them, show them that we are serious people, show them that we want to change the dynamic. And we are on the footing of doing that. The president of the Liberian business community have brought every institution together, from the Fuller Business Association, the Rebarrow. He brought everybody together this time around. So we are all sitting on one table.
Okay.
And he advocates for everybody. We go ahead. 99% of the trips that I make around the world, I make it in the interest of showcasing Liberia.
Mm-hmm.
And we showcase it for our pocket. The government don't finance any one of those trips for us. Not even visa. We pay for visa. We pay for our plane ticket. We pay for our shelter.
You don't have leverages?
We pay for our feeding. We're supposed to have it, but right, leave our in item.
But tell us about some of the leverages you have. If you say you're supposed to, maybe there are some leverages.
We're supposed to have, like I said, mm-hmm. we should have. But right, leave us will be having a budget.
But there is none you can point.
None. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
The legislatures, they have freedom to bring containers in the constitution. They are, they can.
You can say that again.
Duty free. Yeah.
But the Liberian business.
You remember during the time that this man was still alive, Adolf Lawrence, there was this thing about a certain card in the country, and I think Representative Carol's grass word that some of the lawmakers started abusing that duty-free privilege.
They say have it up to present.
Bringing in people commodities in their name, and they started getting the kickback. But the point is, if the business people who are the engines of any economy, like Liberia,
especially local businesses,
all right, if they're not giving those leverages, do you think it makes any sense for lawmakers who should be making laws in your interest to get those leverages?
You can say that again. That is the song that I've been singing for the past 15 to 16 years, Matthias. Those guys call themselves representatives and senators, like I always said, previously stated, those guys are the problem of Liberia. They sell our children feature. Yesterday, our feature was sold by them to our parents. Today, they are selling our children, the young generation feature. You look around here, for example, the education sector, which is supposed to be the first thing that they should look at. We put a burden on president. every time. Yes, the president, he's the head. Yes, but the legislature, they are the most disorganized, the most wicked people that I see in the Republic of Liberia. While the most of the time, I always use this scenario, why most of the time you see them running to Ghana to hospital. Because the Ghanaian representative and senator put their country first. They put a citizen first. Why you see them going there for weekends, carrying the loved one, the cuckoo bomb, the girlfriend, and the sexual boyfriend to Ghana? Why they going to go shopping? Why is it Liberia as the oldest African country we declare war on Germany and the sexual? What do we have to show today? We don't want even deliberate South Africa from the slavery. Liberia was the only country that stood for them. Check the record, check the history. I sent it to you yesterday. For me, I do background checking. What do we have to boast of today? Absolutely nothing. We are the fourth richest country in the world in resources. I don't say in Africa, I say in the world. But we are being kept in the dark as a reserve for other or white people. And those white people, we know them. And you and myself know them. We are being kept as reserve. Our country are being kept as reserve. They don't allow any development to come to our country. We need to be developed. When we talk about tourism sites or views in Africa or in the world, we have the best. But it's not being used or utilized.
We're not developing them.
It's not being developed. And the reason is just simple. Because of the representatives and senators we have. They're talking politics. They are not talking politics. You remember former senator or representative Edward Ford came up and started crying on the radio because his daughter died. May her soul rest in peace. At the JFK hospital, when all those people, children were dying, that was during Manasedi regime to JFK.
During the Ebola.
They never saw it as anything. I think he even attempted suing JFK. And people talked to him to forget it. There's a clear indication that they need to wake up. The 53rd legislature need to wake up.
This is the 54th now.
The 54th. So they need to wake up.
Edward was part of the 53rd.
They need to wake up. They are the problem to this country. Signing agreement that is not in the interest of the people. Signing agreement that is only in the interest of the stomach and the packets.
Recently, we saw you championing another struggle, and it is really
the Seti brother.
The Seti brother situation. But you know what puzzled me the most in this whole thing is that I saw you with a group of people on the struggle. In less than no time, they pulled back from the struggle and they left you in the cold alone. I barely hear about Seti brothers anymore. Seti brother will continue to allegedly produce substandard materials in the country, and the people who consume those materials, the plastic chairs, like maybe steel, like cement or so, and go on to allegedly abuse the labor of the rights of the Liberians that work with them. But when somebody raises their voice to talk about these things, the next thing is that either you are tailed or you are asked to back up from the struggle because of some connection of the power that be. Where are we?
That is the problem in the country that we find ourselves in. People start something with you and they don't go to the full end. When we started that fight on Seti brother, there is the only fight that brought Seti brother to his name. The fight of Dominic Nimlin and others. That was betrayal. But at least people betrayed it. It's an open secret. People left from behind me and they went and started having meeting with Seti brother. But I thank God that some things were changed at Seti brother, and a lot going to be changed because we're not going to sit down. Seti brother know that season 2 is coming for him. Oh yes, I'm getting a lot of information, a lot of facts, a lot of videos, pictures, and etc. And this time around, when we're coming back for Seti brother and other companies, not just Seti brother, I'm not going to limit this to Seti brother. The Firestone that have to do with the Americans that take our rubber, buy it at a cheap price, take our rubber to Senegal and manufacture it in Senegal and send it to other parts of the world. Is it like Liberia is not better enough to have a factory, to have a manufactured company? Why is it that there is no tangible of Firestone in Liberia?
Good question.
Why is it? And American claim to love us. Why is it?
So what are you going to be asking for? You're going to be demanding that Firestone
have a
set
factory.
up a factory, a
We need
manufacturing
a
factory.
manufacturer that will produce tires in Liberia. Will produce every other thing that it used to produce with our rubber, our raw material in Liberia.
Well, you may be delving into a grave error, because if you say that you're going to be prevailing on a company that got involved into a legal agreement with your country, perhaps it's not indicated in the agreement that Firestone should set up a manufacturing company.
Can I say something to you?
That would require you repealing the agreement between Firestone
and we can do that.
And the government. So you should be asking your lawmakers.
So we can do that. First of all, you bring it to the public, like I'm doing today. If you bring it to the public, people will start to buy the logic, the concept in it. And the Firestone owners themselves, they know that they have been stealing from the Liberian people for hundreds of years ago and up to today's date. Other companies within Liberia, like I said, not just Firestone, the B Mountain, the one that they got the Turkish driving trucks that Liberian cannot drive. Maybe there's no truck drivers in Liberia. Those are things that we're talking about. Those are things that Dominant Nameless stand for. I am not political. I am not partisan. I am not religion. Nobody financed me. We did it during Manaseri region. We brought her to her name. And we can do it again.
Let's look at the current status of the business community. You've highlighted a number of things. What would be your description of the current business, situation in space in Liberia? Is it okay? Is it friendly? Are you on survival mode, as you indicated earlier? What is it? Are people, gradually waking up in the morning and doing business and getting the returns, positive returns?
Yes, some people getting positive return, and most of the positive return go to our foreign business counterparts, which of course
they're benefiting from the economy mostly than
the indigenous. And why? It's because
this could be a racist statement coming from you. Somebody would tell me as
I will
racist
not see it as
statement.
being racist. I see it as being factual. Everybody have the right to their views, and I'm not against them either. If I was a Lebanese in Liberia, well, I came to Liberia to do business to maximize profit. If I was an Indian, I came to Liberia to do business to maximize profit. If I was a Chinese, I came to Liberia to do business to maximize profit. If I was a Nigerian, I came to Liberia to do business to maximize profit and take that wealth to my country. You remember when Mana said, he said the business people put the money in the suitcases and carry it, right? You remember that English when she said it? She wasn't referring to Liberian-owned businesses. She was referring to foreign businesses that was given all the amenities. On black and white, we Liberian-owned businesses have the immediate, but the feature lies in it. The implementation part of it is the problem in our country. We have the good laws on the book. Don't get me wrong.
Very well.
Liberia have a lot of good laws on the book. Liberia have set historical records in the world. Liberia have stood for what they call truth, nothing but factual. But that was then.
All that has changed.
It have changed.
Let's look at our staple food, rice. That is not just a staple food, but it's a political commodity in Liberia. It has served as a recipe for chaos. It has served as a recipe to go against a sitting government, rice in Liberia. Today we see that either it's disappearing, or some people are holding it to themselves and others cannot see it. You are a business person. What do you think is causing this shortage of rice on the market? We're hearing complaints also that some business people go to buy the rice and they are asked by the rice importers to buy another commodity attached to the rice as a way of in order for them to get the rice. What is happening?
So there's an old issue. If you check my past record, which of course Natalia you know about, and other reputable journalists like you in Liberia know about it. During Manasedi region, we had rice price here for $18, $16, and $17.50. I brought the rice price down by the grace of God in Liberia during Manasedi region. When I wanted to import rice, and we have Eason Ade at the Ministry of Commerce. And we got to understand that foreign businesses in Liberia pay for the warehouses and the stuff just so we cannot mean the criteria of importing rice to Liberia as Liberians, because they make a lot of profits in those importation of those commodities. certain commodities. So what I did, I went to the various banking institutions, requested for a letter of credit, which of course they give to our foreign counterparts, business counterparts.
What is letter of credit?
Letter of credit is the stuff that they give you, letter that they give you to stand guarantee for you that you can, somebody can supply you from out there, you sell and pay the person back. That's how most of our Lebanese, Indians, Chinese, and other nationalities in Liberia are making it, and we are not. When I requested that, I was denied, and I got some people within the place that make us to understand that there are warehouses in Freeport that I entered, but it been locked up during the Manasadi region. People have the keys. So I said, okay. You know, they're afraid of the media. So I came to the media. I called my press conference that I usually does. And those warehouses were uncovered. And they right away they get a warehouse. The second breach is to get the letter of credit. Right. The tier was to get the IPD, the importation license to bring the rice into Liberia.
Okay,
my brother who fought and got tired. My rice that I was bringing into Liberia, I was going to sell it. I had a contract of 500,000 metric tons of rice to import to Liberia.
I remember that story very well.
500,000 metric tons. During Manasadi led government, we were eating 25,000 metric tons every quarter. And my first consignment was to be 50,000 metric tons. The second consignment was to be baggage and purified in Liberia, where are going to create jobs for Liberian, where the rest are coming to come in by seas. The first one are coming to come in plane in a bag, just on the market to go sell. The second consignment was coming in as a seed that we even talk to expand into the agricultural side to be able to feed ourselves. All right. And my brother, it was all turned down. So what I did, I said, okay, I'm coming for you. If you think you can win on this side, I will win you on the other side. So I went, I called a press conference. In my press conference, I said my rest I bring, I will sell it for $12.50 or $12. It shouldn't be sold for more than $13.50. Boop. Manasadi, the rice importer, they had a press conference they had a meeting at the Bella Casa Hotel. In that meeting, that way Manasadi came off with the rice price $13.50. Yeah. That way she came over the rice price $13.50. So it was Dominic Nieminen that brought rice price to $13.50.
Does denying you the opportunity to input the rice.
Yes, but you know what? They reduced the price. This is what I'm coming to. What they agreed to reduce the price because they know how much rice costs to import and etc. All right, that's why the price was reduced. I'm saying that this out there to fellow Liberians that we need to put ourselves together and bring in some of those commodities. There are a lot of millionaires, Liberian millionaires around. But our problem is that we don't want to unite. We don't want to unite to do business. We don't respect each other. We don't trust each other. We don't love each other. And that is the problem. We don't love each other.
You're right
about, as Liberian. You're right about Until that. Then, we'll keep turning in one cycle. You see Seti Brother today? It's owned by a lot of people. You see Seti Brother? It's owned by more than 35%, but they got one person fronting for them. A lot of companies in Liberia, many more. A lot of companies.
So what are you saying in short about the rice issue is that it's controlled by some foreign hands that are backed by some operators of the government?
Well, I don't know that. And before we come out with our final statement concerning this rice issue and all of commodities.
Are you still investigating?
Yes, we are investigating. And next week, the president of the Liberian business community, the president of the Fuller business community, Dominic Nieminen is the chair on trade and commerce for the Republic of Liberia for Liberian-owned businesses, national chairman of the Patriotic Entrepreneur of Liberia. We will come up with our statement next week. We have to meet the commerce minister.
How does it sound to you that I went to your used car, dealership on Capitol Bypass, and I want to buy a car.
Yep.
So I have the money to buy the car. But here you are telling me that, Matthias, you're not just going to buy a car like that. So you're going to buy this car. The next thing you're going to buy also is that you have to buy wheelbarrows. I'm not doing construction. Why are you forcing me to buy wheelbarrows? People are going to buy rice. They ask to buy milk and other things and all of.
Let me hold you there. Let me hold you there. There's a clear secret. It's an open secret. It's been happening for the past few months, probably going to a year. And I'm not going to give the names of those businesses that doing it, for those foreign businesses that doing it. And we got videos
doing what?
Listen,
telling people to buy
another commodity before they sell you rice. We have videos, we have receipts, we have audios to those infect, and those information will be made available to the media. If we talk, when we get through talking with the commerce ministers, the finance minister, the LRA, and the secretary, will make public those information. Until then, we're going to hold our peace on that, which of course we're asking for 1 week. We're not just going to jump out, because rest issue is national security issue in our country. We don't want to create chaos. We don't want people running head to scatters. We are happy for the fragile peace that we're enjoying today, and we want to maintain it. Some of us, we have nowhere to call home beside Liberia. Liberia is the only country that we cannot be deported from, and it's the best country on planet Earth. What you see happening in Liberia, you don't see it anywhere in the world. And I can tell you have white men, black men in Liberia, man. We are just the best.
So describe for me, the climate of doing business in Liberia. I mean, how is it? Because like we say in the media, journalism, if you look on the world, the passion for broadcasting. You must come with this word. If you must be a journalist, you must have passion for it. So for us, it's not about passion. It's not about what we get right now. Maybe we are plotting a mat that we're gonna lie on tomorrow. So we have passion. As for the resources, forget it. We don't have resources. How is it for you doing business?
Let me tell you. So foreign businesses first, to do business in Liberia, anywhere in the world, in Liberia, to do business in Liberia is very easy. And for foreign businesses, and it's easy for them to take the millions and billions dollars of profit that they have matched, that they have acquired over the time, or over the years, or over the weeks or months that they are invested in Liberia. It's easy for them to walk away with those amounts. There is nowhere in Africa, next door Ghana here. I always use them at Kickstarter, Africa's, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone. Before you establish business in that country, you have to emerge with addition. And in Liberia, doing business, man, you can just walk and start your team like yesterday. And we Liberians will love foreigner more than ourselves. Oh yes. For example, the keke man will insult you or cheat you. When you start to talk to him, you'll see Liberian coming there to defend him in numbers. Leader man, yes, you'll see Liberians coming there to defend him. All right. So I just want to say this, that we don't love ourselves. And the minute we start to come together and realize that mistake and try to right the wrongs, I tell you, that's the time we're ready. Let me say this to us out there as Liberian. I'm trying to form a saving and susu club. We want to do that at the Liberian Business Association. I spoke about that during Manasadi region. It didn't work, but we're trying to do it today. If it cannot work at the Liberian Business Association, we'll do it by ourselves. Where one Liberian will bring in 50,000 or 5 to 10 to 15,000 per person. We'll put US dollars. We'll put that money together and build our own shopping mall.
My man Julius and I would have contributed.
Oh yeah, any amount can win. Any amount you can bring Liberian dollars. Oh sure.
15,000.
We want everybody to be equivalent. And you will get your share like certain time.
What would the money be used for?
During Manasadi region, you must only for certain shares, right? We want to share shares. We want to be able to buy the prime property in Kankatan, any part of the city, and put a 15-story building that will have, thank you, our own mall. We guess when we reach a certain level, the bank will come in and intercede. And you will just sit down to your house, crank your legs, and you can do anything. We'll bring in commodity. We'll do sharp rice. We'll rent sharp. We can bring in rice ourselves. This is a method
all
that
these
we can use.
Ideas are there.
All right?
But
until then, we are not heading nowhere. If we say we're waiting for government to help us before we change the dynamic, if we say we're waiting for the banking institution, we're just wasting our time. We keep turning around in one cycle.
Okay, let's hear from you, the public. It's quite important. And this morning, it's always a pleasure having Dominic, by the way, on the program. He brings so much sense to the discourse. He speaks truth to power.
Before you take them, I like to brag about this saving and susu club called City Trucks Singer. I'm not a sportsman for them, but they are the first people that came to Liberia, a banking institution, that took the risks to get Yanam boys loaned. Revival people, they started from Douala and they are coming in town small. They are the credit union. I would like to say this to the very banking institution. Another credit union, I think, being run by some Asian people.
You doing
In
advertisement for the people?
Liberia again, we had a meeting with UN, with USAID and the Secretary, and these people stated, I was so happy that the loan that they gave out, they received 99.9% back in return, Liberian pay. I want to ask the banking institution, what kind of mechanism that you're using that when you give loan to us as Liberian-owned businesses that we cannot be able to pay? If you cannot answer that question, I will answer the question for them. The interest rate and the payment term is not good. That's why we're being choked to pay the money back. But say the trust 20 street, that bank or credit union is the best. It's one of the best that you can go to that will help you to build your capacities up as Liberian-owned businesses.
Okay, let's engage the public now. That's Dominic Nimile, president of the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia, chairman of the Trade and Commerce of the Liberia Business Registry Association. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning, Matthias.
Good morning. Let's hear you, sir.
Good morning to Mr. Nimile. David E. Harris, Nakwa from District 8, Camp Johnson Road.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, Matthias, I always follow Mr. Nimile on most of the platform around town. But my question to him, on the issue of this 50 million that he always speak about, did he meet the president and the finance minister concerning the money, the business community? If so, what was he promised concerning the 50 million loan? Thank you.
Okay, whether you were able to meet the president or finance minister to talk about this money issue, if so, what were you promised, by the government? But call us on the numbers 0777 777 107, 0777 777 107, 0770 682598, 0770 682598 are the numbers. You can call us on to participate on the program this morning. You're listening to Sky Morning Live on Sky 107.1. We have a few minutes to go. The president of the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia is Mr. Dominic Nimile is with us this morning. He's also chair on Trade and Commerce of the Liberia Business Association, LIBA. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning, Matthias.
Good morning, sir. Let's hear you.
Yes, I want to also welcome your studio guest. Thank you to Mr. Nimile.
What's your name?
And Mr. Lamin Samek from the Density Populator, the Township of West Point.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I also want to tell Mr. Nimile, thank you for your effort. And I want to encourage you to keep up the good work. It won't be easy, but by the grace of God, we Liberian businesses, we will reach where God wants us to reach. So continue doing what you are doing. We are beyond you, and we'll work along with you. Thank you.
Thanks for your contribution on the program this morning. Let's hear you. Call us on those numbers 0777 107, 0777 107, 0770 682598. And the brother said it's indeed a Herculean task to advocate for an association or an organization, or better say a sector, a business sector. This is a whole sector, by the way. And in every developed country or in every civilized community, businesses or business people are the custodian of the economy. When the elections are nearing, politicians take loans from sometimes they take loans from the banks, sometimes they take loans from the business people. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you. Let's hear you.
Yeah, this name from a village from Batam.
Go ahead.
My brother, and I tell you from the government, I put the government power. And after I put the government, now to give me officer to empower me with funds. I've worked for 5 years. I feel like the card before the food. When it comes to power, they take it from the right kind of I get a little oil. Just what it's called. No, I want to go. Because I implemented this project. I went to us. I stayed 12 years. Just for money, and I get explain for me why we did it. I want to see anything here again somewhere. What do we say? Why you can't empower me to empower you? I'll get for the 3 men. Now most of them drop. Now only me. Why are they coming to do all that and do also? Afford an chalk for the comment or the Canada. Why would talking your own country? Nothing else to say. Thank you.
Thanks for your contribution. And you have to manage your expectation. Who heard that phrase? Michael, in 2018, that was the popular phrase around here. Manage your expectation. Yeah, I enjoy politicians, right? When the guys are educated, I like the way, they play with words. It's just the way the musician will go to the studio and writes a nice song and sings it. The man will also play with the English in order to communicate his message. After saying, hey, vote me, we're going to bring change in the country. And the next thing they say, hey, listen, manage your expectation. You're hoping too much. You're expecting too much from us. So you know what? You need to manage your expectations. So, brother, I'm still asking you to manage your expectation after 5 years. Let's hear from this other person here. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Matthias.
Good morning, sir.
Good
morning, sir.
Yeah, they give us approve a tradition.
Mr. Momo, go ahead.
I mean, thank you to Dominic. You see, Matthias, Dominic has cracked down our number. You see, that the government to buttress businesses in Liberia, and then they continue to relent on the issue of what they make on the crime. So, Dominic, one of the young men, we don't want to see the country moving forward. But, it is the country that we saying, when see young people who want to do things and then it's not working off. The men have cracked down a number on the right issue. Okay, what government can wear along with the man? And they know the issue, the issue is a political commodity. And they continue to the issue. When it comes to selling issue before now, they want to wear along with the people. Why they can't make money available? And part of what we cannot harvest that agriculture. What we know is our stable food. What we can harvest that agriculture, what plant of good land. Okay, Matthias, it's unfortunate. But we millions of dollars coming up on we are not industrializing, people cannot living in higher property. It's so frustrating. So I know how well, Dominic always speaking. I feel, the kind of development aspect you want to get on your country and nothing working off. Thank you, Dominic.
Thank you. And we have to continue on talking. We have to do some voice in the media. We also have to keep lending our platforms to the business community and every other, person in the country that is doing everything to ensure that Liberia is taken to another level. Like the guys under the banner ETN, Educate the Next Generation, that awarded some students yesterday, valedictorians of various schools, best quizzers, best debaters. I think that's a way of inspiring people and other students to wake up to and do more. If you listen to the voices out there, to the calls, most of the people are just frustrated. Only somebody asks one question. Mr. David E. Harris actually left Mr. Dominic with a question that, hey, I want to know whether you met the president or the finance minister, and I want to know what response did they give you. Let's talk to at most 2 more persons. Good morning. Good morning. Has the line frozen from that end? But call us on. Good morning. All right. Call us on 0770-682598, 0770-682598, 07777-107, 07777-107 are the numbers you can call us on to participate on the program this morning. Welcome to the program. We have the president of the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia, Patel. Entrepreneurship it should be an interesting, although it can be challenging, of course, every profession or career, it can be challenging, but it must be rewarding as well. Let's hear from this person here. Good morning.
Yeah, this is Michael Joseph calling from Upper Caldwell, to be precise, St. Beach, Watertown community.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my brother, we really, it's frustrating sometimes when we look at Liberia's situation. It's frustrating that you see our government will come and then they will prioritize agriculture, no farming. You see, with all of those things regarding Taylor business, you see, that people will say when Taylor come back here, will be equal to vote for him. It's not that because he was a rebel leader, a certified people. But the dream of Taylor, it was growing, it was getting big in the food sector. You got Google names here to produce your own rice. The only thing I believe that the government will do, lobby, get some equipment, rice machine, rice cleaning machine, tractor, and other things that people will be able to help us And as a donation to carry on our agricultural works and produce more rice for us, because if we know that rice is our stable food, our just will be focused on rice. But we're not doing anything. We just sit here as a Liberian. The government haven't even dreaming about making any kind of fund. So a frustrated brother.
Thank you. Let me just squeeze in my brother from the US, Yaki Williams, quickly. You have 30 seconds. We got to go.
Yeah, good morning, Matthias and Dominic.
Go ahead, Yaki.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, Yaki.
Yeah, I want you to give my number to Dominic, and because I want to give him few free financial advice. I don't want to, kind of say it on air.
Okay.
Yeah, so
now connect you to after the show.
If you have time, you can call me.
Okay, he'll reach out. He'll reach out to you. Yaki is a financial expert. He based in the US. He's a friend from New Jersey. So that's it, Dominic. You have 1 minute 30 seconds.
So we had a question here if I have met the finance minister and the commerce minister as well. So to our people out there,
yeah, go ahead.
To our people out there, I just want you to know that the barricade around reaching or seeing our president, you have to take blood tests. When our president took office, 2 different times we visited him. I was denied IPD for rights in this country by the past administration. Under his administration, he gave me IPD right away. The second time we met him, the first time we met him, he did some executive orders. The second time he did executive order, that was then. And it was then. That was it. Because since then, we have been requesting as the Liberian Business Association, which of course the Marketing Association, every other association in Liberia that have to do with businesses is on LIBA. Liberia Business Association, LIBA. The president of LIBA and the business people of Liberia have requested so many times to see His Excellency President George Manawiya. We have been turned down. We have sent communication after communication to him to see him, but to no avail.
Okay, let's conclude. Finally,
we ask and pray that we can see him, because we know when we meet him, I guess he will be able to change some things. And to his able deputies that they need to look and see how they can help the Liberian people to change our scenario, meaning to the upper house and the lower house, the senators and the representatives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dominic. Dominic is the president of the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia, chairman on trade and commerce at the Liberia Business Association, LIBA, president of the Used Car Dealers Association of Liberia. My name is Matthias Larbeindee. He has been speaking on a variety of issues confronting the business community. Join us tomorrow from 7 to 7:55, at which time we call it a day. And Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to be having just half edition. My name is Matthias. Have yourself a wonderful working Monday.
Wake up for your sleep. My sister, too long. We've been in our sleep.
What is your take on ASU strike?
You see, this strike is a gargantuan flux in our helification, and it brings pain like pneumonotra microscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. As a compost mentis homo sapien, and as a ratiocinative kahuna, without any...
That's why Disney's film Encanto has had such a global impact.
Everybody can understand. People from all over that has to leave their home. You do whatever you have to do to save your family.
Novelists Juan Gabriel Vázquez and Cristina Bendek on retelling Colombia's brutal history through fiction. And Simon Mejia from Bomba Estéreo on why their music is inspired by Colombian nature.
Drug trafficking, we have the war and everything, but at the same time, we have a beautiful country in terms of environment.